Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
And we're going to begin here at 5 with the weather and a threat of storms heading into this evening. We've already, in fact, seen one warning to the north of us come and go.
Yeah, let's get right over to Brett Collar and what he's seeing on Storm Tracker 4, Brett.
Well, things have quieted down a good deal since earlier today, but there are still a couple of heavier downpours and even some spotty showers outside of that. You can see across the whole southeast Michigan map here, there are a couple of showers dotting the map, but it's really up in our north zone that we're seeing the strongest activity. But even at this point, it's not severe. It's just a couple of good downpours with this shower just to the north and east of Emmett, scooting out fairly quickly, so this should be out over the water in the next 15 minutes or so. Still keeping a close eye on the potential for anything that develops to be severe. I think activity is really winding down over the next hour. We'll keep a close eye on things, but the plan at this point is for us to dry out this evening, and then we look forward to what should be a dry night tonight. But some more changes are on the way as we have more storms Wednesday into Thursday. The bigger story this week, though, is the heat come Wednesday. We're talking triple-digit heat index values. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Don't forget, with all these storms and the heat this week, you can get the Local Forecasters app right there in the palm of your hands, and you'll get more information about what to expect in the coming days. Just search WDIV weather in your app store.
Brett, thank you. Our other top story at 5, a ruling from the Michigan Court of Appeals says county prosecutors indeed have the right to enforce Michigan's 1931 ban on abortions.
Led to a fair amount of confusion surrounding this. Let's take you through some of the broad strokes here. An appeal to the ruling is expected to come soon, with Planned Parenthood of Michigan saying it will continue to provide abortion services. The 1931 law, of course, classifies abortion as a felony, even in cases of rape or incest. Meantime, 7 county prosecutors across the state sent out a joint statement saying they will not enforce the abortion ban. Priya Mann live tonight. Priya, Governor Whitmer has now made a move to block this as well.
Yeah, that's right, Devin. Just moments ago, Governor Whitmer requested a temporary restraining order against enforcement, and that's because access to abortion at this point could depend on which county you live in. Just take this Planned Parenthood, for example, in Midtown. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy has said she won't enforce the ban, but if this Planned Parenthood was in a different county, its ability to provide reproductive health care services or just keep the doors open is very much uncertain.
We believe that the Court of Appeals order is wrong.
Monday's ruling means county prosecutors across the state can choose to enforce the 1931 law banning abortion.
This is a victory for the rule of law. This is a victory for proper process and courts staying within the bounds of their jurisdiction.
The Great Lakes Legal Center represented some of the prosecutors who challenged the injunction blocking enforcement.
All prosecutors in Michigan today are free to enforce the abortion statute if a case is brought before them for review. It's up to each prosecutor and how they exercise their discretion.
Prosecutors in Macomb, Jackson, and Kent counties have indicated they will enforce the abortion ban, while 7 prosecutors, including those in Wayne, Oakland, and Washtenaw counties, will not.
Depending on where you live, which county prosecutor governs your jurisdiction determines right now whether you have a right to an abortion in the state of Michigan.
The ruling by the Michigan Court of Appeals will likely be appealed, and Planned Parenthood says providers can still legally provide abortion for at least 21 days.
Any prosecutor who attempts enforcement before that period of time would be acting outside the law, and they should be held in contempt. Abortion is still safe and legal in Michigan today.
And you might recall that earlier this year, Governor Whitmer filed a lawsuit asking the state Supreme Court to settle this issue once and for all, whether the state constitution protects the right to abortion. Earlier today, her office did release a statement which reads in part, the Michigan Supreme Court could take up the governor's lawsuit at any time, and they should do so immediately to provide clarity for Michiganders that the right to abortion remains unchanged. Now, coming up at 6 o'clock, we're taking a look at the journey to this point and what's at stake in November. Reporting live in Midtown, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
It'll be really interesting to see now if the state's high court agrees with the urgency on this matter, so we'll be watching that hour by hour. All right, Priya.
Detroit's chief of police says the community deserves better after 24 non-fatal shootings and 7 homicides in Detroit just this past weekend. The major incident happening early Sunday where 8 people were shot during a birthday party on Detroit's west side. Rod Maloney is following this story for us tonight. And Rod, the chief really sounds like he's pretty fed up with this.
Yeah, he's angry, Kimberly. He's also calling for action, saying that at this point, the police department cannot arrest its way out of this problem. And he's adamant about another thing. He says it's not a gun problem. He says it's a gun use problem with people making poor decisions.
This country's obsession with weapons and mass shootings and it's just unacceptable, and we can do better, and we have to do better.
The chief left shaking his head after this shooting on Coyle, the overnight hours early Sunday, as a well-attended birthday party led to a neighbor who didn't like cars parked in front of his driveway, allegedly let loose with a high-powered rifle. 2 shot dead, a 39-year-old woman and a 38-year-old man, 6 others injured, 1 critically. The man having put a gun by every window in the house and firing from inside and out.
There needs to be a penalty for bad behavior, and I don't see anyone who has a healthy fear of committing a crime. You have to pause and say, I might go to jail, I may do time.
The alleged shooter in custody. Then on Penrod Street on the city's west side, 2 women shot on a drive-by at a party there yesterday. And then there is this. 16-year-old Ryan McLeod, charged as an adult for allegedly shooting and killing a 13-year-old over a cell phone. Chief White saying one thing he can do is take all of the gun crimes stacking up on his desk and shipping the files off to the U.S. Attorney's Office, looking to see if he can get federal felon in possession charges tacked onto the local cases.
Those charges carry up to 10 years in prison, and those are federal charges, so you're not going to be able to work those off without doing the time. We are very serious about this, and we're not playing around.
Now, the chief also talked to me about the issue of little to no bond. He says one of the things they're finding is that violent criminals in the city of Detroit are showing up at crime scenes either involved or around crimes wearing a tether. He says it's not supposed to go that way. And he's calling for more and higher bond to try and keep this from happening, keeping the violent criminals off the streets.
My goodness. Rod, as you said, the chief is fed up, and I know there are other organizations that are standing behind the chief on this issue as well.
Well, one of the groups that came today was called Detroit Ceasefire, and they are just as angry, in fact, even perhaps more so than the chief, saying that people can no longer stay on the sidelines, that those days are gone, that people now start needing to get involved, such as mentoring and calling police and trying to prevent crimes before they happen.
Yeah. Okay. Rod, thanks.
Well, a little less than 14 hours from now, Michiganders will be heading to the polls all across the state to decide some hotly contested primaries. Voters will weigh in on everything from congressional races to who will be the GOP candidate for governor. For those with concerns about election security and making sure every vote counts, Paula Tutman has been behind the scenes to show us the multiple checks and balances designed to do just that. Paula.
This afternoon, I worked with a member of the Secretary of State's team to actually map out checks and balances, most unseen, but really speak to keeping the vote safe, secure, and accurate.
I have always said that democracy is a team sport. It works best when we all participate and when we all, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, stand up to protect its integrity.
What you see on Election Day is people casting votes at various polling places. Here's what you don't see. There are more than 1,500 municipal and city clerks. There are 83 county clerks, and each clerk is responsible for their votes.
We may see people laying the seeds for post-election shenanigans on Election Day tomorrow, and we do see and we do hear some chatter about that, and so we're prepared for that.
Michigan's Secretary of State office says Michigan's decentralized election system is the sheer strength of voter security because you can't hack into a larger centralized system. In order for fraud to occur, you'd have to have massive collusion of thousands of bipartisan officials in lots of different communities, all working together to defraud the vote for one candidate. Here's what you might see. A handful of various clerks expressing dissatisfaction with the law or the vote count. Here's what you don't see. Numerous checks within the system to prevent rogue bad actors from altering the outcome of the election, like paper ballots, which is the physical evidence of a vote, the bipartisan canvassing process that would catch any attempts to change or alter individual votes to favor any particular candidate. Clerks themselves have no actual say in determining outcomes of an election. According to the Secretary of State's office, their job is simply to administer elections in a safe and accessible manner, but they do not have any authority under Michigan election law to certify or reject results, regardless of how they feel about them. There are also bipartisans in the room where votes are being counted. There is never, ever single party representation, ever, where ballots are being counted. There's always someone from both major parties watching what the other people are doing. Of course, there are many others. Those are the basics. So if someone says a vote isn't secure because the candidate of their choice didn't win, or the vote is only secure because the candidate of their choice did win, it just doesn't hold water, because in the big picture, there are just too many checks and balances so that the vote remains safe, secure, and accurate in Michigan. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
All right, Paula, clickondetroit.com is your home for all things election over the next few days.
That's right. And there you can find voting guides and how to find your sample ballot along with your precinct. Then we'll have real-time results as they come in tomorrow night. All the links can be found right there on the homepage.
Also, don't forget tomorrow night, tune in to Local 4 Plus for our special primary election coverage. I'll be live with our pollster, Richard Zuba. Election experts will be here as well to break down the results as they come in and the trends as they develop. That's tomorrow starting at 8 p.m. on Local 4 Plus. Wayne State University President M. Roy Wilson announces he will be stepping down when his contract runs out at the end of next school year.
Wilson has been at the helm of Wayne State for the last 9 years. He says he doesn't intend to retire and will pursue other chapters in his life. The university thanked Wilson in a statement praising the president for improving graduation rates and increasing diversity.
Here at home, Michigan gas prices continue to fall, nearly matching the national average now. AAA says Michigan drivers are paying an average of $4.22 a gallon, just 1 cent more than the national average. Since last week, AAA says Michigan gas prices have fallen 20 cents a gallon in the metro area. AAA says drivers are paying $4.19. AAA spokesperson says if demand increases, prices are likely to remain steady.